everybody. Welcome to the 10-Day Growth Hacking Challenge with your host, Nader Sabri, and our fourth contender, Richard Guaman. I pronounced it right, correct?
It's Guaman.
Guaman.
Yeah.
Too many times I made that mistake. Okay, so but we're on board. He's our fourth contestant, which is awesome to have him on board. Richard is joining us all the way from Queens, New York, which is such a delight to have so many contenders from every corner of the world touching on so many different things. Before we get started, the 10-day growth hacking challenge is you get 10 days to do 3 growth hacks to 10x your growth based on the growth thinking methodology, which is a design methodology to help you to take an idea to action in a snap. Richard will be working with this book, like every other contender, on how to design his growth hacks. Today, we're going to be kicking this off. We're going to talk a little bit more about what Richard does, what he's going to do, some of his growth problems, and then the 3 growth hacks that he's planning to implement to 10x his business in the next 10 days. What's interesting is Richard is a wellness hacker. He's hacking wellness, and he's looking at it from a holistic perspective, which creates its own challenges, but provides an extreme amount of value for those who tap into it. Richard has an existing client base that have been tapping into what he's doing and has created a lot of value for them. He's looking to take it to the next level and to growth hack what he's doing. I'm going to allow Richard to take the floor, tell us a little bit more about what he does, how he's been doing it, some of the growth challenges he's had, and finally, the 3 growth hacks we're going to see in the next 10 days. Richard, over to you.
All right, Nader, thank you so much for having me on this challenge. Really appreciate it. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm on board, so let's get it. So guys, what's going on? Good morning. My name's Richard Guaman again. I'm a fitness and life coach, and I really work by starting to identify and cultivate mindset changes with my existing clients, any prospective clients. And then in order to create the shifts necessary, in order to make behavior changes that are needed, in order to just make these changes not quick yo-yo kind of fixes, not band-aid fixes, but real lasting changes for the long haul. That's really what I try to do for people, and ultimately just to make their lives a little bit happier, healthier, and more fulfilling. And being a fitness coach, I got into the fitness industry about maybe like 6-7 years ago. So understanding the behavioral, the mindset component in the mix, it's so heavy, right? To be able to go and tap into somebody's like inner dialogue, so to speak, in order to make the changes not only important from a surface level, but to really like get deep and dig deep into their why, and then really make the changes from within the roots, so to say. So to be able to do that, not only from a fitness component, but from a nutritional standpoint, and then not only from the nutritional standpoint, but from the mindset, and then life coaching, it's such a broad area, but to be able to help people with either their relationships or their relationship with themselves or other people or their family members, and then have them change certain habits in order for them to strive and then achieve more in their work capacity or in their personal lives or in their business, and think about the money differently. It's all these things, but in order to kind of like bring it all together, I just want people to grow, and I just want people to understand that like unlocking your potential is something that is you can't touch it, you can't beat it. It's something that if we just do it, it's something day by day. If we keep going into it, it's the most fulfilling thing you could do for yourself and those you love, those around you.
Absolutely. I think like with the recent lockdowns and the COVID situation, it probably drives a lot of interest towards the services that you're providing. And you've probably seen like a shift in mindset, which would be very interesting to see, because as I work with different contenders, we noticed that the COVID situation has created some very unique opportunities. And we always believe that, timing is it's an art in itself, of course, but can play a vital role in the success of any of the growth hacks we work on. So do you see anything that like relates to some of the context of COVID-19 or these lockdowns, which has impact on your business in a positive way, of course, and you see some potential impact on some of the growth hacks that you see moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. So when I guess about a year ago, right, when everything was shutting down in New York, there was about a 2-week span where it was, and I was working for a box gym along with other little fitness studios in the area. So there was a 2-week period where it was like, okay, everything shut down. what do I do? like just sitting on the couch. Okay, what's going to happen? So then it was really on me to be like, okay, what do I want to do? How do I get the ball rolling again? What's available to me? And that's where Zoom came into play, right? Just like everybody else, this online world. So then I just mailed out with my existing clientele, I just emailed them, hey, would anybody be interested in Zoom classes? Just keep it going. And everybody is always striving for connection, right? And especially during this COVID-19, everybody's just kind of locked into place. Their routines are kind of flipped, upside down. So to be able to just get something, even though it wasn't the same thing, to be able to get that consistently for people that were interested and open to it, it was a blessing. Both like for them, they were able to keep it going, and for me too. So I was able to keep sharpening my skills, and then have to adapt to this new medium, through Zoom. And now with things opening back up, I feel like I guess the psychology of people, they're more open to this type of platform, just through Zoom and online through the screen. So it opened up a new market for sure, something that you could tap into. And now you also have the pre-existing market of, one-on-one personal training, just very hands-on, opening up as well. So there's a lot of areas you can go.
Perfect. So you see that as people are adapting to more online methods, do you see that as a fundamental part of your business and fundamental part of your growth hacking moving forward? Or do you see that a shift or a hybrid potentially even between the two?
Yeah, definitely a hybrid. So I love, and I don't know, I may be biased because this is how I got introduced into it, but just the hands-on training, there's something that can't be beat by that. But there's also like a really premium price tag for that. So if you could kind of decrease that entry point, and then you're able to interact with a broader audience, and you're able to kind of scale that. So either like a Zoom, like multiple people in your Zoom call or in your workout, right? You don't have to leave your home. So there's a lot of pros to that approach. So my whole thing is trying to integrate that with what I do already, and do it at a level that provides quality to whoever's there.
Fantastic. I mean, I think that's really important for those who are listening in. I mean, what Richard has just described about lowering the friction points. And I think that's a big part of, it's a big mistake that many people make in different businesses, where they assume that the consumer will think the way that they're thinking, but fail to realize that the lower the friction, the higher the volume or scalability your business will be. And the friction points change with time, which is what's interesting. So I had like a recent entrepreneur, he's imported something that he's selling. It's in the beverage business. He didn't anticipate a whole bunch of hidden costs, and his margin has come very tight. And he asked me what to do. And I said, well, you need to lower the price because you need people to adapt to the product, because you don't know if it's actually going to be successful. So this minor cost adjustment that you're going to make in the short term is the price you're going to pay to learn and create adoption. And the same thing applies to many other businesses. So lowering that friction point, the beauty of lowering friction points in today's world is technology. Technology is free in many cases, low cost in a lot of other cases. And when you need to scale, there's the marginal, like technology becomes marginal cost, meaning as you scale, it's not as proportionate, it stays marginal while you continue to grow. And so it's never, I mean, it's an exciting time in the world right now where we've got technology, we've got the techniques to pull it off, and growth hacking to accelerate that. So it's an amazing time to be building a business. And I think this is quite amazing because we are all focused on our personal performance. For me personally, I think COVID has definitely accelerated that for me. And it's done that for many people in their own different ways. And I think that's part of the challenge that you're going to be looking at, I guess, Richard. And I think maybe what we can do is we switch over to what are some of the growth challenges you have now, and how are we going to tackle that in the sense of 3 growth hacks in the next 10 days?
Yeah. So my challenge was I was operating out of a box gym. So they handle kind of the marketing for you. You just go in there, you get leads, and then you get complacent in the mix. So after COVID happened, and a few months ago, I decided to just go off on my own. I had my own client base that I was working with. So I figured it was a good time to kind of jump ship and put more on my shoulders. So the challenge really is for me to get into like this more optimizing this one-man operation. right? So like being more productive with things, being able to use technology in a way that I could schedule. So because I'm over here scheduling things like with my handmade calendar, right? Just in my little notebook. Okay, the more clients I get, that's gonna be just silly, right? It's silly at the moment. So I just want to be able to organize my things more efficiently and just become more of a business, make my business more of a priority, not just okay, kind of run and gun kind of thing, just go flying by the edge of my seat.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned you're doing your calendar by hand. And recently I had a client, we were trying to build something and I gave him a very manual way of doing things. And he was like, are you kidding me? I thought we were going to scale. And I said, we will scale, but imagine replicating mistake. I was like, do you want to do that? And he's like, well, of course not. I said, that's why we start manual, by zooming into the process in such a level that any kind of mistakes or alterations would happen on a very small scale. So when we multiply that, we're not multiplying mistakes. And so although you're doing it by pencil or by hand, it doesn't really make a difference. Actually, at this stage, it's going to be how do we take that to the next level and learn about all the potential mistakes that could have happened in that to be sure we don't replicate it again and again. And so that, I think, is a really important point and good starting point. And I just want to point out to everybody before we dig into the 3 growth hacks, Richard has an amazing secret hack, which we're not going to tell. It's a secret.
The secret hack.
It's a secret hack. And I got to tell you, I'm very proud of Richard on one thing. We have this super amazing, super secret hack. And he said, I want to build the foundation of my growth before I get to my super hack. And my hat goes off to him because that is a super wise decision and is going to pay him back in dividends when he starts to scale. So keep tuned in. There will be that secret hack that we're going to talk about in the future, not quite here, but we're going to zoom into how he's going to build his foundation to grow. So what we're going to look at are his 3 growth hacks that you'll be seeing in the next 10 days.
Awesome. So my first growth hack is really to automate my client scheduling and payment methods. Because right now, every month, it's okay. Like I kind of have to pitch again, even though they've been with me. Like my clients have been with me for a while now. It's okay. You'll have 1 session left, or this is your last session, and it's not awkward, but it could be better. It could be streamlined better, So yeah. to have that automated, to have my clients know where they stand in terms of like session count, and not always have to, oh, Rich, like how many sessions do I have left? Or it just makes things more professional. It's less of a burden on me. And then I feel like that it's just scalable at that point. So that's my first one.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
Second one is going to be to streamline my services and my methods into like a tight knit program that can be scalable. So I've been doing this for a period of time right now, kind of just cutting the fat and just like, okay, what are the main parts, what main ingredients? Because ideally what I want to be able to do is get a large enough client load where I have to bring someone else in. So how do I train those trainers? How do I train those coaches? And that way, if I have a nice skeleton of a structure of a program, then it'll be a lot easier to be like, okay, this is the method. This is the method of the business, what I'm trying to promote. These are the values here. Take this. This is the skeleton. You could add whatever, your own flair to it, but this is what I want you to run with, make sure you have these points in there. So that's going to be my second one.
Cool. Okay.
And the third growth hack is going to be to create really niche target audiences to market towards, not just marketing to everybody. I found that when I was like before, and especially being in the wellness industry, you feel like you could help everybody. And in a way, like these principles can be applied to everybody who's willing to listen, who's willing to apply them. And I believe it could help everybody's life. But when you're trying to market to somebody or make a message resonate with somebody, then it has to be really specified to them. It can't man, woman, older professional, younger, teenage athlete, whatever it may be. You have to really identify and be clear with who are you targeting and why do you want to target them? What value can you provide to them? So that's what I want to just kind of narrow down and get ironclad and then move forward from there.
It sounds like growth hack 2 and 3 have an intersect where when you're identifying pain points, so like you're identifying pain points and you develop a program you streamline towards pain points, and then you communicate that pain point to a very specific audience. Is that some of the thoughts you're gonna go, like, have you thought about that or something you're gonna go through? Because ultimately is like you said, you want to create these packages that like create value, right? It's not just this package A, B, and C. You want to really streamline this thing. And I like the fact that you're going to go niche. I think that's probably a very smart strategy. Not probably, definitely a very smart strategy. But ultimately, I think it's about pain points. And I know you've identified a few things by gender, but there could be some things that are like actually a bit more deeper than that. Like what about like pregnant women who've just delivered and they want to get back in shape? And like, so there's like really tailored programs are specific to that. That's just probably just one silly example, but is that some of the things you're going to look at? Have you thought about that already? What are you looking at on that level?
Definitely some things I'm going to look at. What I found over my time is when I first started, I was thinking, hey, I'm going to train, athletes. I want to train like high school athletes, college athletes, and then do all that. When you get into the workforce, one, that target audience is very small, right? And then two, if you're training the athletes, like the college, high school athletes, they don't have necessarily the funds in order to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to train, constantly with you and then get there. So then when I was working just with the general population, I found that about older individuals who have a career established already, and they've kind of let themselves go because they focus more on their career to build themselves up and to build their businesses. But then they've reached the point where they're successful financially, but then they're feeling the burden and the taxes of their decisions earlier in life. And then their 40s, 50s, and then it's like, oh man, I'm feeling sluggish, hypertension, blood pressure, all this is affecting them now. I need to really get back into shape. And that's when they're able to come get me or come get any fitness professional and say, hey, can you help me out? Can you help me out with this, with my eating habits and my fitness? So back to your question. Yeah, definitely. It's like, so that could be in of itself something. And that's something I target already, working professionals that they feel like they have a packed schedule, but they don't necessarily know how to incorporate like just the fitness or the healthy habits into their lives in order to make substantial results. And that's the thing. It's not really a quick fix, 1-2 weeks. It's these little changes we could start incorporating that it doesn't feel too burdensome to them and that they could stick with. And once we find something that they could stick with, then it's okay. We have this one block. How can we build the next block? How can we build the next block? Oh, you're seeing results. Awesome. That's the intrinsic motivation that they need to keep it going. And then it just kind of snowballs from there. So that like the older, no busy schedule, career-oriented individual looking to get healthier.
So it sounds like you have a very sharp understanding of that, and you have a bit of history with it, which I think is awesome. So I think like getting zoomed into how to growth hack that specifically, and learning some specific. So here's the cool thing is I think that as you learn about targeting this one specific niche, and for the obvious reasons, I think you're going to learn about things that you can transfer over to other niches. So for example, like busy executive says, hey, I can't come to your place. Can you come to mine? Could be something as just simple as that. Or, you know what, meet me halfway. I've got somewhere that I go to that's on the way. Let me work with you at that level. Like, I mean, I'm just giving you some very silly top level ideas, but I think you're going to find like some ideas you probably already know, by the way, since you've been working with them, you're going to identify like these little tiny details. And I always tell people like, see, growth comes from the unseen areas and they like these little tiny nuggets. And so never underestimate these really tiny, small details that can go a really long way. And since you're zooming into that one niche, I think that's excellent because that just gives you the nice learning ground to put it all together. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think that brings all of the 3 growth hacks together. And eventually leads you to your super secret growth hack, which we won't tell anybody about. but
they got to stay tuned for that.
They got to stay tuned because I have a very strong feeling about how successful that's going to be. But we'll get there eventually. So I think that's a really good start. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share related to these growth hacks that you just in general? I mean, I know your perspective on this is going to change as you start to execute, but is there anything else that you would like to share at this point before you dig into your first hack?
I feel like, and I guess this is just for everybody that's listening, like to be involved with this challenge. Everybody has things in their lives, right? I have a whole like workload and I have like my house here and everything I try to do outside of work life. And it's a lot. So for me to come on here and to be able to say, hey, I'm going to try and make this a priority because it's my business, and to hop on these Zoom calls and to want to to make the effort, to take the effort to grow. It's something that's putting me out of my comfort zone already, because I'm very comfortable just doing this. But talking to Nader and having to think about these things, and I know it's only going to benefit me. And what I like to tell like my clients is a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of resistance, like that's okay with that, because that equates to growth. So it's easier said than done always. So when I'm coaching people, yeah, you know, go do that next set, go have that uncomfortable situation, go that uncomfortable conversation. But to do it yourself, that's really, you know, I try to practice what I preach. So I thank you for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to, you know, just trying to elevate my game.
Perfect. I mean, that's the mindset that's needed to make this grow. Like you say, I mean, you got to go out of your comfort zone, and that's where the real growth is. And it doesn't have to be that discomfortable, right? If that's actually a word, is there such thing as discomfortable?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, uncomfortable. There we go. Yeah, you don't have to go that far out. Like you said, it's just like one extra set, and they can go a long way. So, I mean, amazing mindset. I think is going to take you a long way in this challenge. And these 10 days, for those who are just tuning in, they're designed to just get you supercharged to keep going. You know, I've had a few people who got so uncomfortable that they don't want to do the challenge, and that's perfectly okay. You know, I always like to focus with those who've got the mindset that want to get it done. But this is always like a signal to those who are, you know, a little bit uncomfortable. Get inspired by those who just live in discomfort without an issue, because they know the benefit is much greater than just consistently being comfort. Richard is a perfect example of that. I look forward in the next 10 days to see the progress. We'll be in 3 days talking again about growth hack number 1. And that's it. We're ready to rock and roll. For those who are just tuning in, if you want to see some of the other contenders, please click below. Any information regards to how to reach out to Richard and learn more about him will also be in the description below. Feel free to reach out to him if you have any collaboration ideas or things you want to ask him about some of the things that he's doing or going to do or has done. Reach out to him, and we're ready to go. Richard, are you ready to start the challenge?
I'm ready. I'm going to start it right after this call. Get to work.
That's it. Action, action, action. If there's anything, it's just getting in the habit of taking action. That's what this is about. So we'll see you in 3 days.
All right. See you in 3 days for sure.
See you in 3 days, Richard. See you.
All right. Take care.